Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now we Americans, we like to think of our country as the exceptional, indispensable, and almost infallible. We rarely admit our mistakes, and we like to think that we go around the world doing good. But let's take a look at the invasion of Iraq. Now, we're all seeing the disastrous consequences that are happening now. But Iraq did not collude with Al-Qaeda. They had nothing to do with 9/11. They had no atomic weapons program, nor WMDs of any kind. They had not threatened us or provoked us, and yet we invaded them. Defenders of the war say that Iraq is better off without Saddam Hussein. The fact is, it's not. And that's a stretch. When a country is better off under a brutal and vicious dictator, you have to really be screwing up to make that worse. As big a prick as Saddam Hussein was, he did keep that country stable. The war was not just a disaster for us, but for Iraq and the entire Middle East. Others say that it was the result of an intelligence failure, and that's their excuse. But the fact is that while our intelligence agencies could not categorically state that Saddam had no WMDs, they also could not categorically state that Saddam had WMDs. This was something that was not mentioned as the Bush administration sold the war to the American public. If you're going to go to war, it's your responsibility to get the intelligence right. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but at one point during the build-up to the war in Iraq, they supplied us with thousands of pages of documents and hundreds of CDs, which they said proved that they had no WMDs. The very next day, the Bush administration said that the documents and CDs were lies. They were an attempt to deceive us, even though they obviously had not had anybody review those documents or CDs. One day later, the Bush administration showed aerial photos of some odd-looking trucks and made the ridiculous claim that these were mobile WMD laboratories. What they actually were was helium tanks used to blow up balloons at children's parties. The fact is that the Bushies decided to go to war and then manufactured so-called intelligence to build their case. So we went to war with a nation that did not attack us or threaten us or have WMDs. And a lot of people now admit that this war was a mistake. And that's all they like to think of it as, a mistake. It sure was that. But it was also a criminal act. And we compounded our criminality by creating a torture program. Now, we have Congress stepping in to derail a deal with Iran that even Saudi Arabia, Iran's most implacable enemy, says is a good deal. Israel insists that Iran should be made to completely dismantle their nuclear program. But Iran has the legal right to have a civilian nuclear program, just as any country does. This demand is not only unreasonable, but it is really hypocritical, because Israel not only has a nuclear program, but they have an unknown number of nuclear weapons. But if Congress sabotages this deal, that will inevitably lead to the bombing and possibly invasion of Iran. And that also will be a criminal act. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of war. And I'm tired of this country that I love committing war crimes. Thanks for listening.